Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Centech Solutions. My name is Ngozi and I'm going to be your facilitator for today's section. I would be answering an interview question and also sharing my screen. Presentation is all about. Okay, but before I dive into this today's topic, I want you to understand that organizations, they do their own safe differently. All you need to do is you tweak it, you customize it to suit your company's need. Okay, what some organizations do is they start up with the safe template and they kind of improve on it, they tweak it and they customize it as they progress. Okay, so one of these interview questions was actually asked, and the question is all about AdSync. So tell me, how do you run or facilitate your AdSync? So I welcome you all back again to my channel, and I see all the likes or the comment. I don't take you guys for granted. I appreciate all your time, all you coming back. Thank you so much. Like I said, you can leave me a message, you can email me, tell me the questions that you need to answer, and I'm going to do a video right away and send it right back to you next week, Wednesday. So back to today's topic. The question is, how do you run your AdSync? So I came up with this template, actually. Like if I have my my AdSync, if I have a program review that is upcoming, and I would usually add the program review into the AdSync so that we can all talk about what needs to be done. Okay, like in my organization, we do program review every month. We also have the sprint review that they do at the end of every sprint. We also have the systems demo that we do at the end of the PI. Okay, so it all depends. If my program review is closed, what I'll do is during my AdSync, I will add it to my agenda. Okay, so for these AdSync, the attendees will be my product manager, my program manager, my dev lead, my chief security lead, my QA lead. Sometimes I have the PO and also the Scrum Masters, but in most cases, they are optional. Okay, so what I have for number one would be progress on the upcoming release. So let's say we have a release that is coming up towards the end of November, right? I want to talk about it during my AdSync. So I ask them questions like, are we very sure that this release will actually go out, maybe say on the 30th of November? They'll say, okay, yes, okay, like AdSync that I facilitated, the dev lead wasn't too sure. I said, well, actually depending on another team to get something done before we can release this thing. I was like, okay, and I turned to the product manager. I said, do you think there should be a scope change? Do you think there are features that needs to be removed or replaced or things like that? And he wasn't too sure. So he said they needed to meet after this to look into those dependencies. Okay. Another thing I want to look at is the defects backlog. Okay. I'll open my Jira board or I'll open my ADO and I'll look at the defects. Okay. Like for my last AdSync, I opened my defect backlog and I saw about 18 defects. I was like, wow, what's going on? I needed to know why we have this number of defects in the backlog, right? And they were like, okay, these defects have not actually been validated. Okay, so they were just reported by the customers and they're looking into it. So you want to know things like that. You want to understand what are the challenges, what is actually the reason for the high rise in the defects. Okay, then for the number three, like I said, is the program review. Okay, so what we basically do during the program review, I, as a release train engineer, I have a PowerPoint presentation slide that is already prepared, and I have everyone's names attached to each of the slides. You all have what to do. You go to your slide, you fill it up. For me, I am in charge of gathering the metrics, okay? Like the quality metrics and the delivery metrics has to be there. You want to discuss, okay, are we ready? Our program review is coming up in 1 week's time. Please, could you guys go to the slide? This is a link to the slide. Kindly fill up your slide. Okay, you want to talk about it. You want to know if there are any challenges. You want to know when to get it done. Everything is time boxed. You want to make sure that things are ready before your program review. Okay, so for me, for the metrics, what I do is I gather the metrics and I send it to the team. I say, hey, based on the data that I gathered from Jira or from ADO, whichever tool you're using, these are the number of defects, these are the number of age reported defects, these are the metrics, these are the Bondon chart, this is what the Bondon chart looks like. Are you guys okay with it, or is there something that needs to be changed, right? Sometimes I get feedback like, hey, you need to run those reports again because there were some defects that have just been closed. You need to run those delivery metrics again because there were some user stories or tags that has just been closed, right? So what I do is I run it again to get the updated version. Okay, so number 5 agenda would be the risk and the dependencies. You want to ask them, what are we doing about the risk? What are we doing about the dependencies? Like for the upcoming release, remember I said one of the feedback was that they were not too sure if the release was going to happen on the 30th of November because they were depending on team A or B or C, right? So you want to know what are the level of dependency? How far are they with their own part of the work, right? You want to know what you need to do. Do you need to interfere? Do you need to help them to get these dependencies sorted out? Okay, and what about the risk? Are there risks to this upcoming release? What is it like? Do we have a mitigation plan in place? Do we have ways of addressing this risk? Those are the things that you want to also find out. And if they don't, you want to dive in immediately as the release train engineer to work with them. And there are times this risk can actually not be mitigated. As the release train engineer, what you should do is you escalate the risk. You let your stakeholders know that, hey, this risk may likely happen, okay, so that everybody is expectant. For transparency's sake, don't forget that Agile is a big fan of transparency. You have to be transparent from the beginning to the end. There are no shady deals here. Then number 6 agenda would be the feature backlog. That is, if there are, if your product manager tells you, okay, we need to change a feature, or we need to switch, or we need to remove something, you want to ask those questions. You want to know which of the features is going to be removed and which is going to be replaced. The reason for that is there are times when we have releases and some of the particular point of the release, it is also possible that those features do not really meet or will not be able to meet the release requirements. So what they do is, or what your product manager ideally would do is remove the feature and bring in something that will actually help the team to release that particular product out to the customer. Okay, so I hope this video helps you to answer how you run your AdSync. Okay, like they follow the safe template, while some customize it to what their companies need. So the AdSync for some companies, the attendees will be the Scrum Masters and the POs only. Some will invite the PO, the Scrum Masters, the product manager, and everyone that needs to be there so that they can actually discuss and look at what needs to be done, the releases out, what needs to be done to address the defect, what needs to be done to improve the metrics. So it depends, like I said. I want to thank you all once again for coming back to my channel. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Give me a comment. Like I said, I do one-on-one coaching. I help you get certified as a release train engineer. I help you to prepare for your release train engineer interviews, your Scrum Master interviews, and you can send me an email. Call my phone number 214-282-1329. Thank you so much once again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.